Have you ever wanted to play a spellcaster, but are intimidated by the technical rules of a wizard? Do you want to make a pact with an almighty being? Then the Warlock class is for you. Let's find out about it in today's video, from level 1 to level 5. If you have an interest in playing any of the other classes in D&D, don't be afraid to check out my other videos detailing the different character classes, and hopefully it will help you make your pick for your first game. The Warlock class is a very flexible character to have in your party. They can be a light tank and absorb damage, they can deal damage at range with cantrips, or they can make a good melee fighter with the right build. They can also cover area of effect spells and be a good face of the party depending on the circumstances. The Warlock is primarily based on charisma and is a great multi-class to take a couple of levels. This video is covering the options in the player's handbook from level 1 to 5. If you want to see the best options from other books, then look forward to my level 6 to 20 guides coming soon. What race should you choose and what has the best synergy with Warlock? High Elf is good for melee Warlocks, giving you access to a free wizard cantrip as well. You get a boost to dexterity, which is always a welcome addition to your armor class. For other types of Warlocks, this isn't as good because you already have access to one of the strongest cantrips in the game, Eldritch Blast. The Half-Elves' natural charisma makes them a strong pick as well. Tieflings also get the charisma bonus as well as access to a free Thaumaturgy cantrip and Hellish Rebuke at level 3. Some of the options for multiclassing include a Hexblade Warlock Rogue. Mixing a Hexblade Warlock with a Rogue is a good idea, giving you advantage of being able to have sneak attack and getting in and out of combat with your spells. A Paladin and Warlock is also a good combination, because you can use your Smite ability with one of your Warlock spell slots. Taking 3 levels in Sorcerer, then multiclassing to 2 levels of Warlock is a powerful combination. There is also a bit of a meme build called a Coffee Lock, combining the Warlock's ability to only need a short rest to recover its spell slots, with the Sorcerer's ability to replenish its spell slots, meaning you only need short rests for the rest of the game, if your DM lets you. The Warlock is a very flexible class in both roleplay and in mechanics. On the story side of things, it's more of a reactionary class. You don't need to write a huge backstory detailing how your character got to the situation, but alongside the rogue and fighter class, you can write your story starting at level 1, instead of leading up to it in the past. A cleric or a druid has a lot of backstory involving them worshipping and learning things over the years. The Warlock is offered powers from a patron in exchange for various different things. This can be flexible and be more suited to your character. This can range from a sacrifice or tithe. Let your imagination run wild. At level 1, you get to choose your otherworldly patron. The choices in the player's handbook are the Archfey, the Fiend, or the Great Old One. This is unique to the Warlock class, letting you choose your speciality from the first level you take. Clerics are the only other class that lets you choose right from the start, not even druids allow that. The Archfey gives you access to some unique spells, with Fairy Fire and Sleep at first level. Sleep is good against a lot of smaller enemies like goblins or kobolds, and Fairy Fire lets everyone in your party get advantage on everything in a 20-foot cube. This is great for single target encounters. You also get the Fey Presence ability that lets you charm or frighten anyone that gets close to you. Don't be afraid to throw it out and see what happens. Fey Presence is a good defense for a backline character. Its range is pretty short, but if you need to get rid of some creatures within melee range, then it's a good choice. The Great Old One is a giant celestial being from beyond the stars. If you've read any H.P. Lovecraft or any of the Cthulhu mythos, you'll have a good idea of what they're going for. Thematically choosing this is great, but the level 1 ability, Awakened Mind, is okay at best. If you want to be the face of the party in social interactions, then Archfey is better for charming people, and the Fiend is better for sustain in combat. At level 1, the Great Old One gives you Dissonant Whispers and Tasha's Hideous Laughter. These are reasonably good spells, but there are better ones available from other patrons. Lastly, we have the Fiend. The Fiend's first ability, Dark One's Blessing, is great for tanking and staying up on your feet. It allows you to take a hit and keep on fighting. The spell Burning Hands is a great little level 1 area of effect spell, and command can be useful in both social and combat situations. At level 1, you get Pact Magic. Pact Magic gives you a very limited amount of spell slots and spell options to choose from compared to the Wizard or the Sorcerer, but they do have something unique to the class, the ability to regain spell slots and short rests instead of long rests. For a new player, that may not sound like a very impressive feat, but the longer you play, the more you will realise how powerful this can become. At level 1, the Warlock gains access to one of the most powerful cantrips in the game, Eldritch Blast. It deals 1d10 on an attack hit and can be multiplied at level 5 and 11 and 18. Other notable spells at level 1 include Armour of Agathis, which is great for trying to keep your character alive. Hex, which can be a great addition to Eldritch Blast because it only takes a bonus action to cast. Witch Bolt is good for continuous damage, and Arms of Hadar is a good area of effect spell. At level 2, you gain access to your Eldritch Invocations. These are some of the most powerful options in the Warlock's toolkit, and can help customize your Warlock even further. They help keep you on scale with other classes' power levels. You can start focusing in on what sort of character you want to play. If you're a fan of ranged combat and shooting Eldritch Blast, then go for Agonizing Blast and Fiendish Vigor for some extra damage and defense. Want to be the face of the party and exploit your high charisma? Pick up Mask of Many Faces to fool your way into any situation, and Misty Visions for a quick getaway. The Book of Ancient Secrets is an essential pick depending on if you want to focus on spells and being a magic user or a ritual caster, but it won't be relevant until you hit level 3. At level 3, this level lets you pick your flavour of Pact. There are 3 in total: Pact of the Chain, Pact of the Tome, and Pact of the Blade. Pure melee warlocks picking Pact of the Blade may need some additional things from Xanathar's Guide to Everything if they want to stay competitive with Eldritch Blast users, and in my opinion is one of the weaker of the trio. Mixing it up with some levels of Paladin, Fighter or Rogue are great additions for melee, but picking Blade by itself just lets you be okay at a few things and a master of none. Pact of the Tome lets you pick out cantrips from other classes, so this makes them a great utility character. When combined with an Eldritch Invocation Book of Ancient Secrets, it turns your character into a ritual caster of great power. Don't forget at level 3 you get access to 2 level 2 spell slots, and you can swap them out with a first level spell at this point. Very handy to make sure your character covers all bases. Pact of the Chain lets you summon an upgraded familiar similar to the wizard's spell Summon Familiar. The difference is that you can summon a sprite, pseudo-dragon, imp, or quasit. These creatures can attack if you sacrifice an attack action, but their main strength lies in their passive perception and stealth. The imp can even go invisible, making it a standout choice. This is great for scouting out areas ahead of the party and relaying the information back, preventing any ambushes. My pick of the level 2 spells are Darkness, Misty Step, and Invisibility. They're some of the most powerful tools in your future arsenal. At level 4, you get to choose a feat or boost up your charisma with an ASI. Some highlighted feats are Crossbow Expert or Great Weapon Master for the Blade Pact, Inspiring Leader for a general party buff that works great with your charisma. Warcaster is great for concentration spells like Hex, Witch Bolt, and the Create Bonfire. Watch out for feats that overlap with your specific build. Level 5 is a big power boost for the Warlock, letting you substitute an Eldritch Invocation, giving you access to level 3 spells, and most importantly, giving you a second Eldritch Blast for each attack you make with the cantrip. With the level 3 spells, I would say Hunger of Hadar is a good area of effects for level 5, but does not scale, but keep that in mind as you move on in your journey. Vampiric Touch is good for Pact of the Blade, but other pacts don't and shouldn't get into melee combat directly. Counterspell and Dispel Magic are two sides of the same coin. They're both powerful spells and can turn the tide in battle. Some would argue that Counterspell is a little bit too powerful. Also, the spell Fly deserves a special mention. If you took the Warcaster feat, then this should synergize well with the Fly spell, since it needs concentration. What are your thoughts about the Warlocks level 1 to 5? If you have any thoughts or comments, please leave them below, and don't forget to leave a like and subscribe for more future content. Every thumbs up is appreciated, and hopefully I'll hear from you soon. If you're interested in any of the other classes, then please check my other videos out, and you might find something that helps you make your build. Thanks for watching, and have a nice day. Goodbye.